Yo, what's up? Um, I'm recording this just because I just wanna talk a little bit and empty out my head. I just got home from work, or like a few hours ago, took a big fat nap, and I just kind of wanna yap about creativity, like just some things that have been sitting in my mind recently, and specifically, I guess, how content kills creativity, in my opinion. Like, of course, everything that I'm about to say is my own personal opinion, and so I guess take it with a grain of salt or whatever, like just enjoy it, and I don't know, have your own opinion. That's always important. But yeah, I just feel like these days I've realized also, especially with myself and what I'm trying to make and when I'm trying to be creative, is like the way today's concept of content is formatted makes it an inherent enemy to creativity. Because I mean, like, the idea of content is to always and consistently kind of share yourself with the world, or like share what you're working on, what you're doing, and have it like be entertaining in a way, you know. And it makes it so that there's very, in my opinion, like, there's little room for creativity, because if you want to be successful, you kind of have to submit yourself to the algorithm, which, as you all probably know, favors like a very specific type of video. And like, don't get me wrong, I'm sure, like, I'm certain of it, and I have seen it, that like true creativity can shine through like all the typical content you see out there. But I'm also sure a lot of you can agree that it's just way more difficult to kind of get seen, which is also like a cool thing, but we'll get to that later. I just think, like, to me, social media is kind of a curse and a blessing, because obviously it's like super awesome for putting yourself out there. Like, you have opportunities that have not existed like 10-20 years ago, and social media is making things possible that were impossible before. So I'm not trying to hate on it. Like, its concept is like a super cool thing, but what it has evolved to be has also, of course, as you guys know, like, its negatives. I mean, just alone the fact that you have so many other creatives like sharing their awesome work, you know, it's like super fucking cool, it's inspiring, but you're also at the same time, you can so easily like compare yourself with others. And the thing is, you just see their finished work, you don't see the process behind it, you don't see the years it took to like even conceptualize it or whatever, you know. You just see like a finished product, and you compare it to like your process, your years or months, whatever, of hard work, you know. And it's just like really like unbalanced, you know. It's not like realistic, and I feel like that comparing is what slows down a lot of creatives, because they think they're not good enough, they think they're too slow, or like not in the right place, which requires a lot of strength, you know, to like kind of ignore that, especially when you're confronted with it on the daily. And but also, like, you take a lot of inspiration from it, which is like really cool, but it's also really, it leads to a dead end with time, because you just kind of curate a very restricted pool of inspiration if you just get inspired through social media or like other people in your field, because all you're doing is just going through iteration after iteration. Like, in my opinion, the best inspiration can be found in other areas of art, in other areas of life even, you know, just like the very mundane thing can be the biggest source of inspiration for like the coolest things, you know. And I feel like if you base your inspiration on, let's say, if we're talking about a hoodie, like if you place your inspiration, if your inspiration comes from another hoodie, it just inevitably never really reinvents itself, you know. You always reach a dead end, or you always kind of go into the similar direction, which is sad, and it's happening a lot, of course. I mean, you can see that with every let's say with every trend, you know. Like, you have clothing brands that, like, as soon as there's a trend, you see like different iterations of said trend popping up everywhere, and it's kind of, I mean, it's understandable, of course, but it's just like this wicked cycle that continues if you don't really, you know, care to break it. And I'm not saying it's bad, I just feel like there's a lot of wasted potential, you know. I feel like what's also really important to me is that I, you know, try to just really stay in my lane more, you know. Like, I really need to stop looking left and right and see what the others are doing and just focus on myself, you know. I heard this, like, I read this quote once, which was really cool. It's like, true nobility doesn't come from being superior to other people, but rather true nobility comes from being superior to your former self. And I think that's something, like, if we all took that to heart, I think there'd be amazing creatives out there. Because, like, it doesn't really matter what the people around you are doing, because you're the only one that matters to you. You know, you're the only one you can truly control, and your actions are the only that matters, you know. Like, that's something I really want to embrace more, especially my creative process, because I feel like I tend to rush things just because I don't think I'm there yet, you know, because I think like I'm not who I want to be yet, so I just want to skip the steps to the top, which is obviously like it doesn't work that way. So that's something I really want to take to heart, and also really, like, I want to share my creative process. I want to make videos, you know, I want to take pictures and share them. I want to make content, but I don't want to have it to be too forced, you know. I just want to share stuff that also aligns with my creative vision, you know. I don't want to hop on the trend and be like, yo, this is the craziest hoodie I've ever seen, or whatever, you know, like those typical trends you see, because that's just not what I want people to see or think of if they find my stuff, you know. But nonetheless, I still want them to, you know, be part of the process, or like show them what I've done. So I think it's like you're walking down a pretty narrow line of making content that you're satisfied with, and going into that quantity over quality direction. And I think it requires a lot of strength and fortitude to kind of realize that and also pull through with it, even if it doesn't pull in the desired views or attention that you might expect it, you know, because in due time you will get paid. In due time your things in your work will be recognized, you know. If you want a sense of certainty, if you want a promise, you just gotta do something for 60 months and consistently, and you are going to get what you want to get, you know. It's also something I've heard, which is inevitably true. If you do something for long enough, consistently, and by consistently I don't mean posting a video every day, I just mean like keeping at it and staying true to your like creative direction, then you will be rewarded, you know. It is inevitable. Like if 10 people find it cool, 10,000 will too. They just don't, like they just haven't seen it yet, you know. So yeah, I guess keep that in mind, like to anyone who has seen this. Thank you for listening to me yap or whatever, sharing my thoughts. There's something that really, it feels like cathartic in a way, you know, just getting all of this like brain fog, I guess, or just like all of the stuff in my brain, you know, getting that out. Like I really recommend you doing it too, like whether it's writing it down or capturing it by video like I do. Like just make sure to empty your head, you know, in whatever way suits you.